Hey, so this is a little brief explanation of my new offering that I'm giving in Melbourne, Sydney, Byron and Gold Coast. It's different to what I was previously offering, and I'm just going to talk about the structure. I'm calling it the DMT Extraordinary Experience. It is a one-day process from 9 a.m. to 8 p.m. in the morning, in the evening. It's limited to 10 people to maintain a sense of intimacy and personalized attention and safety. Now this is the basic structure, but when I've done these in different cities, each city provides a different flavor. Each group and individual brings in a different element, and so it's open for improvised kind of change. But this is the basic structure. Starts off introductions, hey, how you doing, all that kind of stuff, and then we'll go into a very potent movement protocol that has a variety of functions. The first, or one of the functions, is to just wake up or bring attention and wake up all the hidden parts of ourselves in our physiology, to strengthen and mobilize all the parts in all the directions, but another also to add this like high definition pixelation capacity of to feel ourselves and the world around us. Another function that I'm using it for is to basically loosen the character armor that's held on a somatic level. So the way the physiology is mapped throughout it's like topographically mapped throughout the body, and so that can create like a rigid kind of armor. So this is to make us more malleable, but it's a huge takeaway if you want to basically use it as a solo practice. Afterwards you will get huge results in your movement capacity, vocabulary, but also I'll go into more detail on the day. And then we'll go into basically the neuroscience of peak states of performance. That is the reason we go into, when I say neuroscience, I'm talking about the neurology, the biology, the psychology, the mythology of these states. When we understand all those elements and the impact that they have on us, it gives us like a basic a map of the territory of these states that we're all genius at to some degree, or we were when we were kids, but as we matured we access them less frequently. But having an understanding of those elements allows us to more deliberately and frequently re-access those states, which promotes creativity, motivation, increased learning. The list is kind of endless, and just makes us feel better. It can also be used for applied to entheogenic journeys and the exploration of those. Then we will go into partnered exercises to explore the hidden aspects of our psychology. So we've used the movement stuff to bring awareness to the hidden parts on a physical level. Then we'll use these exercises to go into our psyche and just acknowledge them and become okay with them. Because if we're unaware, what we call our shadow, our unconscious, if we're unaware of them and if we're not okay with these parts of our psyche, they tend to dictate our reality and our relationships and our relationship to ourselves. And then in these parts there will be some kind of performance pieces just to be witnessed in our flow genius, but also in in all the parts of all the shades of who we are. Then there'll be some physical partnered exercises as a way of repatterning the nervous system, and then we'll go into the breath component. So in the breath component, there's a bit of time there because there's each method has its own function, and it's one of the most practical tools that you can walk away with too. So each method, one is for stress management, the other one is for attention training, the other one is for general health and alkalizing the blood and pH of the body. The other one is for freediving preparation, the other one is for mountaineering exploration, and then there's one that is a slight tweak of the Wim Hof method the holotropic breath work and rebirthing, slightly different, designed to get us into a macro altered state. Now there's a few functions to this. To dissolve some of the and repattern some of the, just bringing nitric oxide and other really therapeutic neurochemicals like dimethyltryptamine, dopamine, norepinephrine into the biome and physiology as a way of repatterning some of the previous patterns that have come up, is one kind of function to introspectively explore altered states of consciousness, but also as a primer for any future entheogenic exploration to anchor a state and to anchor a technique to the state instead of relying on some sort of substances. Not that I don't have a problem with external substances, but if the only way we feel like we can get into those states is by taking the substance, and that can cultivate a type of unhealthy dependency with that. And you can also have unhealthy dependencies with practices as well. That's a separate topic, but it has a few functions. Then in that state we will basically anchor in a very potent map and model of reality and the mind, not as an object of the brain, but as a process, as a self-emergent, self-organizing process of the complex system that governs, of our mind, that governs information and energy. So it's in the between spaces. Whilst that's happening, I'll also be playing Dig, the thing, the being that's behind me, as a way of accessing kind of the subterranean, the sound of the earth, and being held in that. From there, we will then access we've already started traversing into this realm of what I'm calling nature's alchemy, which is an embodied experience and exploration of nature's kingdoms, animal, plant, and crystal, mineral, as a way of understanding how to work with these kingdoms as a therapeutic tool to expand our sense of awareness of ourselves in relation to the world around us. There's a few functions to that and I'll explain the physiology and comparative anatomy that we share in common with crystals and animals and plants. And then from there, as you can hear, there's a lot there, but each state integrates the previous state. And then we'll go into integration practices and philosophies and methods to just how to apply the insights that came from these experiences into our life in a practical way. And then, so yeah, you can hear that there's a lot there. So we're going to be traversing like the underworld, the heavens, our inner landscape and inner reality, as well as the cosmos or heavens, and going into our mortal neurosis as well as our divinity, and becoming okay with all of those. I'm going to do a separate video on the benefits, and if you haven't just worked out from hearing those exercises, in a separate segment. If you have any questions, send us a message, email. I'll have links up to the events on this post.